Welcome to the best outdoors program just off the shores of the mighty Red River. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, the heart and soul of all things related to God's great outdoors. Starring Gary McCoy, an all-around outdoorsman with a CMA Award for Best Personality in Radio. A man who excels in the radio world and needs no introduction to the outdoors, whether standing tall in the winner's circle or sitting low in the deer stand. Mike Eccles, the boss, tournament trail director, and outstanding duck hunting guide with a wealth of outdoors knowledge who's not afraid to give his opinion with or without the facts. His years of bass tournament experience ensures that rules are followed and anglers are kept in check. And last but not least, Daiwa and Ranger Pro Steve Graff, a member of the Northwestern State University Hall of Fame with years of bass tournament experience who continues his pursuit of a double-digit bass and championship stringers. So let's jump on the front deck and make that first cast with the legendary minds of the great outdoors. Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the one and only Steve Graff. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, gang. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 The Tiger. It's Gary McCoy, the old Ranger Iowa pro staffer Steve Graff. The Mudhead Mike Eccles is here. Topwater's in with his new little bifocals that he's got.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. That pin top you're chewing on sounds funny.
Yeah, I know. Now it sounds better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that.
Is that one of those things? I mean, if you got a tick, I mean, you know, like you got to have something in your mouth.
Well, I like that. Have you guys did a
I'll
fidget?
get it off with a cigarette lighter.
You ever the fidget spinners? You guys did on that?
I don't know where it is.
Love it. Love it.
You've got one of those fidget?
Got like 8 of them, man.
Wow.
It costs like $1.
I have a wife.
Oh, well.
I thought you was working on your duck call. That sounded like a good wood duck in there.
Yeah, you know I'm big in duck hunting, so.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you getting into that?
Yeah, try it.
Yeah.
You got the little duck. Get
First
me a little
you got to
duck
do is
tail
buy
going.
a gun.
Yeah, I've got the
and get a
Nintendo game.
license.
Yeah.
Pretty good at high score all the time.
We got to get this boy outdoors.
Hey, this segment brought to you by Bayou Outdoor Super Center, Steve Nichols and Specialty Track Co. Our thoughts and prayers with Steve. He lost his dad here about a week ago.
Man, really?
And I sent him a text that day. And God love him. You know, just a wonderful, wonderful man. At any rate, Steve, we love you, brother, and we got you in our prayers. CCA of Louisiana and Despino and Jim South Tire, and Graff is back this week. He went fishing at Disney World last week.
The microphone won't stay around.
I heard Mickey Mouse just
pill for
whoop.
that.
I heard that Mickey and Minnie Mouse just strapped it on him last week.
Yeah, they'll have a Merry Christmas is all I say. Yeah, we had a good time. They did a little fishing over there with Mickey.
That's what I'm talking about. They beat you on the water. That's what I heard.
Yeah, my 2 grandsons, they kind of put it on me a little bit. They fishing them live shiners and caught a lot of fish. If you're looking for a great trip.
How much does it cost?
$400.
Okay.
$400.
And that's a half a day or an hour?
It's a 4-hour day, basically.
4 hour, okay.
You can do 2 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's great guys. They probably got 20, 25 guys.
Any big fish?
Nothing over 4. Now, we went a different lake than one me and Meredith went to. Me and Meredith went 5 years ago, and we took a trip, and we actually fished around Epcot and Magic Kingdom area, which is the better lake.
Wait a minute. Are you positive it was 5 years ago?
Let's see.
Because we're
3
coming
years.
up on our 4th year.
Yeah, it was probably 5 because it was her senior year. She graduated from Northwestern State.
And I thought it was while we were on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just trying to figure
out. It might have been
out.
right when y'all first started. So that would have been, what, 4 years ago?
Okay.
But anyway, we went to a different
You can tell
lake.
when a good-looking woman walks through the hallway. Eccles immediately.
That's you? Pow, chicka, pow, pow.
Eccles immediately is,
Yeah, enthralled.
Yeah. Looks like a pig looking at a watch.
I'm telling you. The lake me and Meredith fished at Disney was a little better quality lake. We caught some 5 and 6 pound fish, but we didn't catch nothing over 4 with the boys and this trip. But it was a great trip.
How many lakes do they have down there?
I want to say they got probably 4 or 5.
And they got how many guides? 20?
At least 20. Yeah.
So is there always some other people fishing?
Oh
where
yeah, there
you're
was 3 other groups fishing that were in the same lake we were on.
Yeah,
and they're not real big bodies of water. So
did you see any gators?
Saw 2 or 3 gators. Yeah, they got gators. They're there.
Okay, today's show, this is going to be huge. Johnny Geis back on this week. If you're getting ready to go to the Skeeter Owners Tournament this weekend on Lake Fork, Johnny's got all the latest and greatest information for us, and he sent us all some pictures yesterday. He is ripping them.
Dude. toads.
I mean, ripping them.
That looked like pictures from El Salto.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
without a doubt.
Yeah, I'll agree.
And I mean, it's like each day it seems like the fishing's getting better.
Yep.
And if you need to get over and do a little practicing, I'll bet you he might be able to squeeze you in.
I'm telling you.
Also, today's show. Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about my little blunder?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Graph.
Something.
Graph is the best. So-and-so wins the Bassmasters Classic on Sunday. We got him on the show on Wednesday. So-and-so wins the FLW Cup on Sunday. We got him on the show on Wednesday. Joker, wins the Elite Series, and we've got it. Well, Graph jumped the gun
I did.
this time. See, Graph didn't realize that they fished the Elite Series Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday this time. Why they did that, I don't know.
We're going to ask Mark that.
But normally they fish Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So at the conclusion of Sunday's competition, which was not the final day,
Right.
Mark Davis is leading the tournament.
Yeah.
So Graph goes into high gear.
Yeah. I'm
Graph
thinking,
lines up Mark Davis.
I thought he won it.
So,
Well, he thought he won it.
Mark Davis has got it, is on the show. Then at the end of Monday's competition, Mark Davis finished second.
And I wonder why Mark didn't call me back.
Steve Kennedy won the tournament. But this is the first ever we've had the runner-up.
Yeah, we got runner-up
on
today.
purpose.
Exactly. I feel like an idiot. I do. I feel like an idiot.
Hey, you know what? If we got a second,
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, you're the idiot. You're this show's idiot. I mean, even Topwater,
Topwater wouldn't have made that mistake.
Okay, I got a little what would you do situation here if we got a second. You are in a tournament, okay? And the tournament has a rule that you cannot cull a dead fish. Okay? That's most tournaments. That's the standard. You can't cull a dead fish.
Right. Everything I fish is like that.
You've got a topwater bait. Let's say it's a Zara Spook. You've only got one of them, and they are creaming this thing. You've just caught a 4.5-pound fish. We're going to say that you're fishing, since we just fished over on Caddo Lake, we'll say that you're on Caddo, okay? And they are killing it. All of a sudden, big bass hits your Zara Spook, got the front treble hook, in the mouth, but the back treble hook has buried in the gills. Okay?
He's bleeding.
I mean, he's bleeding. And in all likelihood, if you try to move to take that hook out, take that spook out of his mouth, you only got one of these spooks. You need that spook.
Yeah.
If you go ahead and do what you got to do and get that spook out, you've still got the spook to continue fishing, or you can cut the line, leave the spook in the fish, and in all likelihood, he'll make it to weigh in. But if you try to remove it, he's probably going to die. And you're going to be stuck with that, and maybe it would cost you being able to increase your weight. What do you do?
I think it depends on number. How big was the fish? 4.5.
Well, we'll make him a little smaller. We'll make him 3.
Oh well, that
3
makes a difference now.
Yeah. Okay, he's a 3-pound fish.
Okay. For me, number one depends on the body of water I'm fishing. Number two, it's going to depend on are the fish really biting.
I just told you, you're on Caddo. They're killing it.
Yeah.
They're on this spook.
And the chances of catching a bigger fish on Caddo than a 3-pounder are pretty darn good. So
Yeah.
I'm getting the bait out, and I'm recasting. I'm keep chunking the spook.
Yeah. Now, you can't.
Now, I will take out my Mountain Dew and try to pour it down the gills and see if I can stop the bleeding.
Yeah. But if he dies,
I'm stuck with him.
If he dies in the boat, you're not culling him.
Yeah. So the question is, do I take the spook out and throw him back? That's what you're asking. 3 pounds. Kevin Van
he's still
Dam,
alive
Kevin
when
Van
you
Dam just did that.
That's why I brought it up.
And he threw one back, and it almost cost him.
Yeah. What would you do, Mike?
I'm going to let – he's never answered.
Okay. You're on Caddo. It's a spook. They're eating it. You've only got one of these. He's a 3-pounder.
I'm probably throwing him back. If he's bleeding that bad, I'm going to throw him back because I know the chance on Caddo, I got a chance to better him.
Okay. That's your answer?
That's my answer.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Is he right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I feel if in my mind that I know the fish is going to die. He's going to die anyway. If you were to cut the line off, put him in a live well with the bait hung back there,
he's still going to die.
Yeah,
he's going to die.
You know, that's taking it out, leaving it in, he's still going to die. I would take the bait out. If I knew he was going to die, I'd take the bait out and I'd put the fish in a live well, and I'd start fishing, and I'd be looking at that fish every minute, about every second or third cast.
Yeah.
And the minute that fish rolled over,
he's gone.
Yeah.
and was still
still alive,
moving, I'd throw him back.
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah.
You know who else this has happened to?
Who?
Me and you.
Where was that at?
We were on Lake Fork fishing the V&M specialty tournament last year. We caught a fish.
Oh, and I called Kevin and asked him, could we weigh?
Yeah.
Can we throw it back a dead fish?
Yeah, but that fish never. We decided, if you remember, we decided to keep that fish, and we just happened to get lucky enough that we caught a fish that was bigger. That fish was still alive when we released him.
Right.
We culled that fish out.
But the reason why we kept it because he was under.
We did exactly what you're talking about, Mike.
We did. We put him in
kept
a live
that.
well.
See, you didn't even remember that?
I didn't remember that.
But it got me to thinking. That pops up. Somebody was talking the other day about winning tournaments, and it might have been you, Mike. And how many decisions you have to make throughout the course of a tournament. And you've got to fish error-free, essentially. You can't lose a fish or something. But there's other errors that come into play.
Yeah.
And those days that you win a tournament, there are times that you can win a tournament and you still were able to overcome a couple of mistakes or maybe a little mental break here or something along those lines. But generally speaking, it's all got to come together. I mean, Brian Hester and Randy Devers over the course of the weekend, they were able to pull off near flawless fishing on Sunday when it really mattered. Mm-hmm. And actually, Brian's a Bossier Fire. He's the chief. Where my son is now stationed.
Really,
and
nice guy,
and seemed to be just an awesome guy. And you think about those little things. They committed to running a big milk run, and according to him, they burned around $200 worth of gas over the course of 2 days.
Yeah.
They would run to a spot and fish here. That can cost you.
They just barely broke even.
They win a boat.
Ranger 518.
Yeah. But you think about, all the things, all the little mental opportunities that you have where you could mess up here. This decision, to go to these trees first instead of start on this topwater bite first, or vice versa.
Right.
There's all kinds of little things that go into
There
that.
is, but I still think it comes down to whether when you wake up that morning, whether you're meant to win that tournament or not.
I will agree with that.
How much of tournament fishing is luck, percentage-wise?
I think there's a difference in luck. Luck is when you take and you drop the bait over the side of the boat to wash your hands and a 5-pounder hits it. That's luck.
Yeah.
I believe in destiny. I think what's meant to happen is going to happen.
That's what Jerry McKenna says, and that's what Rick Clunn preached to him.
Mike Iaconelli said, when it's your turn, it's your turn.
Yeah.
And if it's not your turn,
like Ricky Lee said, they should have won 2 or 3 boss tournaments this year that they didn't because they lost fish. 2 years in a row, they fished for 10 tournaments without hardly losing a fish, and they win Anglers of the Year and win the tournaments.
Yeah.
This year, they're losing fish every tournament, and they're not doing anything wrong.
And Ricky felt before the season started that it was not going to be a good year for him because of the way you set it up.
He's one of the ones that did not like the
format.
scramble
but still
format.
supported it.
It still supported it and still wound up Angler of the Year.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I just don't believe that it's. I don't believe that winning tournaments is luck.
Yeah.
But I do believe that there's destiny and there's fate, and when you do everything right, when you're supposed to win, you're going to win.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, sit tight. We got all the wrap-up for you. The Boss Championship this past weekend, the 2017 season, and maybe what to expect for the 2018 season. In fact, Mike's going to go ahead and give us the dates and the lakes and everything.
Wrong format.
The format, the whole night.
Yeah.
It's going to
Hit
be a
the dump button.
Going to be
Hit
a
the dump
single
button.
circuit this year.
Yeah.
We're going to Kalamazoo to fish the first tournament. That's all next. Hook it up, track it down, 11:30. The Tiger.
Ladies love country boys.
Thanks for tuning us in today. This segment is presented by Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, Redneck Reflections, V&M Baits, and Paul's Farm and Garden. Get your garden ready for spring by stopping by Paul's Farm and Garden. Now, back to the guys who love fresh vegetables, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
United Rentals offers a wide range of services from custom on-site specialty solutions to online management tools, all designed to be convenient and cost-effective. With online services and equipment protection plans, United Rentals leaves no stone unturned to make sure you get the most cost-effective production out of your rental time. Go to United Rentals or United Rental. Wait a minute. That's okay. You just got that spelled backwards.
Yeah, well, you're in the wrong segment anyway.
United. Oh, I am. Well, good.
Well, United Rentals is getting a double plug.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you, they won't forget this one.
UnitedRentals.com to find a dealer near you. United Rentals, the largest rental company in the world. Thank you, David Duschel. And guess what? In about 15 minutes, you're going to hear that same thing all over again, but corrected this time.
There you go.
Hey, the results
So
of the
much
Moss
for Gary
Championship.
McCoy never making a mistake.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if anybody ever said that, just talk to Julie McCoy. Okay, Randy Devers and Brian Hester won the whole shooting match. They are the king of the hill right now.
They are, and we had a great tournament. We had 87 teams showed up on Caddo Lake for 2 days. As far as I know, with everything going on, y'all never got rained on 2 days until after the tournament. Is that true?
No, we got a little bit of rain
Okay.
off and on. It was the weirdest thing on Sunday. It would rain and it was a light mist, and then it would start to get a little heavier, so you get out your frog tog and put it on, and then immediately the rain would stop.
Yeah.
Nothing will stop a shower quicker than putting on rain.
I'm telling you, it happened 2 or 3 times, but then later on it was, and then Sunday evening it came down.
We had, like I said, we had 87 teams. The way we did it this year, same way we did it last year and the year before that, I believe. We divided the field in half at the end of the 4 qualifying tournaments. So we had 44 teams fish for 1 boat and 43 teams fish for the second boat. In the what we call the A division, which was all great anglers all the way across. We had some super anglers in the B division. Randy Devers and Brian Hester came in with a two-day total, 10 fish of 38.97. And believe it or not, I predicted 38 to 40 pounds. It felt like it was going to be a little off this year. They won first place, a Z517 Ranger with a Mercury motor on it. $35,000.
Oh, wow.
Like that.
Good prize.
Congratulations. Second place, and boy, it was a drop, too. 38 to 26 pounds.
Yeah.
12
That
pounds
is a
difference.
drop. Alan Bass and Wayne Watson, great fishermen, 26-32, and they won. I'm gonna have to make these numbers up. $3,000. And Tommy Brown, Ralph Yelverton, who led the first day and just could not quite pull it out the second day, came in with a 2-day total of $25.92 for third place, and I think they won $2,000. I think.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that that Tommy had told somebody that he was real nervous about the second day anyway, because he said, I think that 4 of their big fish on
5. They caught 5 overs off one tree Saturday.
Okay, I thought it was 4
Wow.
of them.
Yeah.
And he was really nervous about Sunday. He's like, we don't have anything but that tree.
Yeah, and I'm sure they camped out on it, chiseled their name on the side of it.
Drew hearts in it.
Tommy loves Ralph and hearts. That was they knew it. They knew it going into. They fish just. I don't know what happened Saturday, but that's one of those deals.
That's the weirdest thing.
It was just supposed to happen. Jeff Pate got to be proud of his boys. Cameron and Jerry Pate came in 4th. They had 25-14. I gave him a big check. I don't know how much. Michael Bedgood, Jerry Hester were 5th. They had 25-34. Eddie Morgan, Mike Farr, who were in like 2nd or 3rd the first day, wound up 6th. Roger Kirkland, Jimmy Smith, 7th with a 23.90. Mike Court and the other Brian Hester, 8th with a 23.73. Joey Hood, Jerry Letterman wound up being 9th. They had 22.31 for the day. Josh and Johnny Johnson rounded out the top 10 with 22.20. We paid 30 places out of 44 in the top division. And the B division, Ben McCormick. This is a story.
Oh, this is great.
This is a story. Ben McCormick fishing with his son, just like he does out on Cross Lake on the Cash Splash Thursday night tournaments. Mason is 12, 13 years
Yeah,
old. I'm not sure.
appears to be.
Good little old kid, loves to fish. They had a 2-day total of 31-17 to win first place in the B division, and they won the Ranger, the aluminum rig, the Ranger 178, $19,000, something like that.
Not bad.
And the story is that Mason, the second day, caught a fish that weighed like 792, and then caught a high 6, almost 8 and almost 7 pounder that the youth caught. And
Wow.
that's what put him over the top.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Ben was very adamant that the kid won the tournament for him.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Huh.
And then he turned around and won one of the Rod Atwood prints in the door prize draw.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was their day.
Yeah, buddy.
Marshall Clyburn and Jeffrey Rice second with a 26.98, and they got like $1,500, I think, for second. Cody Brazell and Ben Clements, they were I think they were leading the first day in the
No,
B
they
division.
were fourth.
Fourth in the
Fourth
B
at the
division?
first day. Yeah.
Okay.
So they moved up a spot.
12 for third. Ronnie Cameron, that's right.
But they
Ronnie
also had Big Bass the first day.
Ronnie Cameron and Terry Vaughn were leading the first day. They wound up in fourth with 23.85. Jason Bond and Travis Gray, fifth place, 23.80. Robbie Holman and Joe Norris wound up being sixth, 21.75. Tommy Conley, Mike Lee, seventh, 19.20. Monroe McCarty, Kenny Ryan wound up being eighth with 18.58 for 2 days. Kevin McGowan, Brent Stewart, ninth place with 17.89, and Wesley Green and Kyle Carnes, who is Pete's nephew,
Right.
10th, 17.42. We paid 20 places in that division.
And, you know, the neat story on that one is Wesley had to fish by himself on Saturday because Kyle couldn't be there. He had to go work a golf tournament, and then they were able to – and I think that Wesley actually caught more fish by himself on Saturday than the two of them did together on Sunday.
And hats off to Bradley Virgilito. He brought in a 850-something, I think,
852
to win the Gator Tail Big Bass, $500.
Now Mike, let's go to something that I know you might want to elaborate on just for a second. When you split this up in the two divisions, I know before you've done it a couple of ways.
Mm-hmm.
The first time, like you've done it where based off of day one, then you separated them out. Is it easier for you as a director or to run the tournament to do it in the beginning rather than
It's
or is that just something?
no, it's
And you base it off year to point standings. Is that how you divided it up?
we did start off when we were doing the circuit by letting you fish one day, and then you determined that weight determined where you
fell
fall. You
second
divide.
day. Yeah.
We had a lot of problems with people supposedly
Sandbag.
what's called sandbagging.
Yeah.
Going out the first day, not catching, although it was a rule, no sandbagging. You were supposed to go out and fish as hard as you could fish, keep your biggest fish, come in, weigh them, and however the chips fell, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
But it was a barrage of people making accusations about, well, I know somebody that just rode around all day. I saw somebody throw away 2 weigh fish at the ramp. And I'm telling you, from Saturday to the week after, I would have no less than half a dozen people tell me every year that they knew somebody was sandbagging, but they would not file a complaint because they didn't want to be the bad guy. This is not right because so-and-so did this. So we just said, I said, okay, 2 years ago, this is the way it is. And it was in the rules. If you missed it, I'm sorry, that meant you didn't read the rules. This is our second or third year to do it that way. We'll just divide the field before it starts. You know where you're going to be fishing, how you finished at the end of the 4 qualifying.
Now, Gary, let me ask you-
Nothing suits everybody. Had some people that were not happy about that,
Right.
a couple of people. But guess what? You signed up for it.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you my personal opinion here. I just think that I never, ever in my wildest dreams would imagine throwing fish back at the ramp. Thinking I might be falling into a different category. Would you do that?
I ain't that smart.
Well, I'm not. I don't think about
Nobody is.
I don't
Nobody
think that
is
hard.
smart enough to know before you get to the weigh-in where the cutoff point's going to
Exactly.
be.
Exactly.
But obviously, it happened.
Yeah.
I just find it.
It did happen, or
I find
it
it
was
hard to believe. It was
I
just accused.
had enough people that I trust
Yeah.
said they saw it.
Oh.
Maybe they
I'm
thought the
talking-
fish were short.
and
though. Maybe
I'm
they weren't.
talking. And I'm talking about through 4 years.
Yeah.
Every year.
Well,
the complaint.
I love the
Oh,
fact
gosh.
that, you know, 2 things happen with the way that you're doing it now. Number one, I'm not competing against another 86 teams. I'm competing against 43 other teams.
Right.
And yet this year, being in the A side of things, I'm competing against, presumably what were the better anglers.
The elite anglers of the field.
They had a better year.
No doubt.
Last year, Patrick and I fished, and we fished in the B side.
It should have been in C.
There you go.
He's getting the hang of this.
Yeah. Certified smart aleck.
He even look at his face. He's turning red.
He didn't even know that was going to come out that good.
I thought it was great.
Anyway, going in who you're competing against, and so therefore there's no incentive to sandbag.
No, I agree. I agree. I
So
think doing it the way you're doing it
I
now
like
is the
this.
best way.
Yeah.
Well,
and it gives guys an incentive
To fish during the year.
to fish all 4 tournaments.
No doubt.
And if you want to fish for the really nice Ranger,
Yeah. You better step your game
show
up.
up to the weigh-in and see. That was one thing that Pete and I didn't do. There was one tournament. We only had a couple of fish, and we were like, it's a long ways to Red River South. We're not going to win any money, but I wish we'd have had the points.
Right.
And the incentive was that we just didn't follow up on that, and I wish we had now. But we did finish in A. But if we'd have finished in B and could have been in A because of those few points.
Well, I did have one team say, well, we finished up in the B division because we didn't go to 2 of the weigh-ins because we just didn't want to have to drive 30 miles to Red River South for the weigh-in. Well, and I understand that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. First off, it's not 30 miles to Red River South Marina.
Right.
Well, it depends on where you are.
Well, second off, if it was not mandatory that you went to Black Lake this year, it normally is. It was not mandatory that you drive to Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
And it probably will be next year.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the big picture, your mileage, if you had to drive to Black Lake and fish and then drive to Toledo Bend and fish, your mileage driving to Red River South 4 times during the year is a heck of a lot less than it would have been if we had made you go to those other 2 lakes.
Right.
If you want to look at the big picture,
yeah.
If you want to count mileage and time stuff, I understand it. When you leave a lake, fishing on Caddo Lake, you're tired and everything. You just don't want to drive down there, but that's part of the game.
Sure it is. That's
And
my whole point. Sure it is. What if it had ended up that because Pete and I didn't go to that one weigh-in, that we'd have, and maybe we were stroking them on Caddo. What if we'd have finished in the B division instead of the A division because we didn't go to the weigh-in? And
you had 40 pounds and you won the aluminum rig instead of the fiberglass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if we'd have been the overall winner? We'd have had 40 pounds, like Mike said, and could have won the big Ranger.
If that's the case, you'd have had 2 options. You could have been mad at Mike Eccles, or you could have been mad at Gary McCoy and Pete Daniels.
Who am I going to be mad at?
But to me, the one thing you can't do when you fish a circuit, whether it's there's a lot of times like you fish a BFL,
you're fishing for points.
You're fishing for points because you're trying to get to the regionals. That's
Exactly.
your whole goal.
Yeah.
One fish in tournament number 5 can get you to that tournament.
You bet.
So you can't afford to zero on tournaments.
All right, sit tight, kids. Our United Rentals question of the day on the way. Would it benefit the lakes being drained for Salvinia to increase the minimum length for bass to 14 or 16 inches? How can we protect these fisheries? That's next. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, The Tiger.
You're listening to the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, presented by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Nichols Department Stores, Louisiana Coastal Conservation, and Redneck Reflections Taxidermy, making sure your catch of a lifetime is preserved forever. Once again, here's Steve, Gary, Mike, and Jay.
Okay, this is going to sound like a repeat because guess what?
It's a repeat.
It's a repeat. United Rentals offers a wide range of services from custom on-site specialty solutions to online management tools, all designed to be convenient and cost-effective. With online services and equipment protection plans, United Rentals leaves no stone unturned to make sure you get the most cost-effective production out of your rental time. Go to UnitedRentals.com to find a dealer near you. United Rentals, the largest rental company in the world. Thank you, David Duschel. See?
Yeah, that's a good
Mo
job,
better
Gary.
than-
You did a much better job.
You ought to be a professional pronouncer. How about that? Okay.
All right, let's
Now,
redo
let me-
the United Rentals question of the day.
Okay, the United Rentals question of the day, and I had to kind of absorb this a minute ago while we were playing commercials.
Gary had to critique my English.
Would it benefit the lakes that are being drained for salvinia? Bistineau.
Right. Black Lake.
Would it benefit those lakes to increase the minimum length of bass up to 14 or 16 inches
Instead of 12.
instead of 12?
Yeah.
How can we protect these fisheries? Okay.
So
You
let's stop before you even get to something needs to be corrected. There is not a 12-inch minimum.
But you're
There is
probably
not.
right.
there is no minimum
We do not have a statewide minimum length on bass.
Yeah.
on those lakes.
Yes, on those lakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
No lake.
I wanted to say on Red River.
No. We do not- we
Tournaments
do-
have a minimum.
tournaments. That's it.
Okay.
Right.
All
Okay.
tournaments do,
Okay.
but Louisiana does not have a minimum. I mean, you can keep a 10-inch fish.
Well, it's not like on Lake Fork. If that fish is below the slot, if it's 8 inches long, you can keep it.
We got beat by an 8-incher.
Yes, we did.
We
guy
got beat
had
by
a
an
10-pounder, got beat by a 10-pounder, and the guy had 4 8-inchers to go with it.
And beat us.
And beat us because we were fishing for nothing but unders.
yeah.
And he didn't beat us by much, but it certainly happened. So the question is,
So should a minimum be established?
Yeah.
Yeah.
for those particular lakes that are
Right.
being drained for that.
Well, and this is something we've got to keep in mind. We've talked about this. We've got an unbelievable amount of people that listen to Hooking Up and Tracking Down that don't hunt or fish.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we get off on these subjects, and some of our thank you all very much for listening may not know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
When they drain the lakes for vegetation problems, it reduces the amount of water you got. It puts fishes.
Put them fishes
Put them fishes down there. where you
in a
catch them.
5-gallon bucket size.
Yeah.
They was in a
And,
bathtub size. Now they're down to a
for
5-gallon
a
bucket
period
size.
of time, it does make them extremely easy to catch.
Yes.
Right.
And unfortunately, we have some people on some of the lakes that take this as a chance to what are y'all doing?
There was something playing.
Squeaking.
Yeah.
I didn't hear nothing. But
I heard it, but
I
I don't know what
did.
it was.
See?
Anyway, that take this opportunity to go out there and fill their freezer by catching over the limit of fish. We still have a 15 fish minimum. Isn't it 15 or is it 10? In Louisiana.
I think they've reduced that to 10.
Okay,
Or
10,
and maybe
10.
8.
But to catch ice chest and ice chest full of fish when they have them hemmed up. Obviously, harvesting is a part of management. It is. I mean, we fought almost taking any bass out for years.
Right.
And now we realize that that's not the best thing.
yeah.
But over harvesting, especially when the fish are in this vulnerable condition of being in a drawn down lake, is not a good thing. Plus, you are breaking the law.
Yeah.
And it's happening over and over and over and over every day on Lake Bistineau when they pull it down, and Black Lake the same way.
Yeah.
People taking ice chests of 3 and 4 and 5 pounders and 6 pounders out. Those are your brood fish. When they say harvesting is part of management, you want to harvest your small fish.
Yeah.
Take those out. Those are the most aggressive eaters. If you want a more quality fisheries, keep as many small fish as you can. Leave your 3-4 pounders up
Right.
for your brood fish. That's where you get a quality fisheries.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Are we better with a slot then, maybe, rather than a minimum?
No.
My opinion is we're better off if the game wardens swarm the lake and the judges
And monitor
and
it, yeah.
and consider game violations severe like they should, and these people are fined for breaking the law.
See,
Don't change anything. Enforce what you've got.
Amen. Right. That's my whole thing. There is no need to. If we're not going to enforce the laws we got, what makes us think that changing a law or adding a new law is going to be any different? They're not going to enforce it. Enforce what we've got.
The Wildlife and Fisheries says our fisheries can withstand you going out there and taking 10 fish a day out of there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're taking 50 out a day,
right.
There you go.
You're doing 5 times as much damage.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Well, that makes up for the guys that don't keep anything.
Suckers for breaking the law.
That's my whole thing. You know, is just enforce the law we've got.
Because great point. If you're not going to enforce the law that's already on the book,
right?
What in the world makes you think you're going to enforce a different one?
Yeah.
And a slot, to me, I understand they were well intentioned, but I just don't believe in the slot.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that they have served a great purpose. Whether you should keep them forever on certain lakes is opinions.
Okay. I just don't think. I don't think that on lakes, on most lakes, I don't think that many. You know, when they're not being drained down, I don't think that too many fish are being removed to begin with.
No, I don't think it's hurting. I don't think the slot really helps the fish population.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the slot is the reason. I don't think a slot limit.
Whoa. No. If you put a slot limit on there, say 14 to, let's just say,
it does
18.
not affect the population. It affects the size of the fish.
Yeah, but you're putting, to me, that's even a greater protection than what a 16 or 14-inch minimum would be.
It still comes down to only a small percentage of people are concerned about catching big fish.
Exactly.
The majority of your population.
But an 18-inch fish weighs what? 4 pounds?
377 on Saturday. I can testify.
Which are the majority to me of your really good brood fish. That's what I'm trying to protect. Is that I think a slot would really be the ultimate protection. But again, like you said, enforcing it is the issue.
That's it. If you can write all the laws you want, if you weren't enforcing the 10 fish a day law, you're not going to enforce the slot down there.
What's the number one brood size?
I don't honestly know that, but I'm going to say 3 to 5 pounds.
That's what I said, 3 to 5s.
Yeah.
So when they get above that, they're either on the decline or they're the exception to the rule. You know, if you've got an 8 or 9 pounder out there, I can't remember. I don't remember ever keeping an 8 or 9 pounder.
I've never. Well,
before
I catch
fiberglass rubber.
Yeah, I've never caught. I never kept one.
Okay, you had something else you wanted to hit on real quickly, Mike. The ACT. Yeah, the ACT results.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just something I found, and this was not.
Is this like the ACT, the college test?
GED test. I'm sorry. Questions for students of the future, and it said, "Why do teachers drink?" And
whoa, stop.
Yeah,
students, teachers drink. That's all you need to know.
The following questions were set on last year's
look,
GED
Topwater was a student one
examination, and these are genuine questions from 16-year-olds, and the answers. Remember, these people will breed and vote. Questions. Name the 4 seasons. One of the answers was salt, pepper, mustard, and vinegar. Question. Explain one of the processes by which water can be made safe to drink. The answer was flirtation makes water safe to drink because it removes large pollutants like grit, sand, dead sheep, and canoeists. Flirtation.
Yeah.
Question. How is dew formed? The answer was the sun shines down on the leaves and makes them perspire.
All righty then.
Question. What causes the tide in the oceans? The answer was the tides are a fight between the earth and the moon. All water tends to flow towards the moon because there is no water on the moon and nature absorbs a vacuum. I forgot where the sun joins in this fight.
Gosh.
Question. What guarantees may a mortgage company insist on? And the answer given was, if you are buying a house, they will insist that you are very well endowed. Hence, I'm living in a tent. In a democratic society, how important are elections? Very important. Sex can only happen when a man gets an election. What are steroids? Things for keeping carpets still on the stairs. These are actually answers. What happens to your body as you age? When you get old, so do your bowels, and you get intercontinental. What happens to a boy when he reaches puberty? He says goodbye to his boyhood and looks forward to adultery.
To adultery.
Name a major disease associated with cigarettes. The answer was premature death.
That one sucks every time.
Yeah. Question, what is artificial insemination? When a farmer does it to the bull instead of the cow. How can you delay milk turning sour? Answer, keep it in the cow.
That one's actually a great answer.
Yes. Right. What is the fibula?
Your leg bone.
A small lie.
It's a little fibula.
Yeah.
That wasn't a real lie. It's a little fibula.
What does varicose mean? The answer was nearby.
Wow. Okay, sit tight. Johnny Geis going to tell us just how it's going down right now at Lake Fork. If you headed over for the Skeeter Owners Tournament, this might be the best segment of the day. We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
At HUTD, we love to be social, so check out our Facebook page at Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show for outdoors news and some interesting as well as educational outdoor videos. This segment presented by Toledo Town and Tackle, United Rentals, Santone Lures, and Lake Fork guide Johnny Geis. For a great day on the water with Johnny Geis, go to lakeforkbigfish.com and schedule your next fishing getaway. Take it away, guys. Right, if you just can't get enough of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show, tune in Saturday mornings from 6 till 8 for more news from the great outdoors with Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the Dink Master, Steve Graff. These guys are full of great information that's guaranteed to make you a better hunter or fisherman. So tune in from 6 till 8 Saturday mornings right here on 1130 The Tiger, the home of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show.
And on the phone with us, we're taking things a little bit west of Shreveport. Bossier, headed to Lake Fork. He is Johnny, I love my job, Geis. Isn't that what he says every time you set the hook? What do you say, Johnny?
Say, I love my job.
I love my job.
You need T-shirts, Johnny.
Yeah. You know what? That's what you need. See, for your marketing, you just put on there, Johnny Geist Lake Fork Big Fish
.com.
I love my job on the back.
There you go.
Oh, God, guys, if you got one on. I told him they were going to get a bite.
See,
there you go.
In the middle of his radio interview, how big is this one?
Oh, he missed it.
Oh, no.
Just what?
He missed it.
This morning when I got in the boat, it was the most beautiful sunrise. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it, and I did close it out with "I love my job."
Well, you're really loving it the last couple of weeks.
I tell you what, the last 5 or 6 trips just been awesome. We had 5 yesterday before lunch, ended up 22, and we're already beating that mark here before we go get the hamburger. So, man, the fish on Lake Fork are biting.
What do you think? What's the biggest factor? Why are they biting now? Weren't biting 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Well, they for what I do, and again, I'm deep structure fishing out on long points, pond dams, road beds, that kind of thing. Most of the fish were still, due to such a screwy spawn, they were still up shallow, and we still got shallow fish because we had so much good rain. Lake's a few inches over normal, and it's a lot of good cover, and it was time for it to fish good. It'd been a little tough, and I knew the fish were there. That they just needed to get the little heat on the water and get some movement out in their normal summertime holes, and it's just happening now. Every day's getting better and better.
Well, John, I want to ask you this question. You got the Skeeter Owners Tournament coming up this coming weekend. Of course, McCoy will be over. How many guys like McCoy have you taken out that they go get on your holes, when they come over?
Not many. I mean, I fish many different places. I really don't notice that. Every day when I'm driving down the lake, somebody be in the spot, and I'll tell my guys that we'll have to wait a little bit till they move on along. But if it's, and one was here right before we started here, he just wasn't in the spot on the spot, and that's where you really got to be. You can be in a general area, but if you're not sitting right straight up and down on the spot like I'm fishing here, you just don't catch the fish good.
Right.
Well,
but I tell you what happened lately, 3 or 4 days ago, all the big white bass just disappeared on the lake. They did it last year, and for 4 days they have not shown up. So that's taken a little element out of the fun factor. But hey, it's been replaced with big old bass, so most of my customers are happy right now.
Johnny, you still fishing with the brim heads, and if you are, you still catching the catfish?
When the sand bass moved on, so did my cut bait part move on. I threw them a little bit today. We had a few little pecks of probably yellow bass, but I know we're using live perch right now. Is what's catching the big ones.
You know what? Hey, Johnny, I'm looking at your Facebook page right now, Johnny Geist Fishing Guide, and it looks to me like you got to fish with Santa Claus in overalls.
It was yesterday, I tell you.
Eccles, take a look. Look at this.
Oh, I saw him. Yeah.
He stood right there, and he sure did snack a lot of good fish. And the day before, they fished with my friend Bayou Dave, and they caught 150 catfish. 6 of them did. And then they had a super trip with me, and those good gentlemen said they were from Nebraska, I believe. Said that was the best trip they've ever had in their life. 2 days in a row they caught.
That's the guy that coined the phrase, "How big a boy are you?"
It was.
Johnny, what are you expecting this weekend with the Skeeter Owners Tournament over there?
I tell you, it's going to be awesome. They've got so much going on around the marina right now, getting ready for it. Skeeter boats will be coming from all over the country, United States coming into this thing, and I imagine they'll have 2,000 boats on the water, and they will have quite a few overs in my prediction. A lot of people are targeting, the small unders to get an hourly check, but they're going to give away the boats on some nice overs. So there's going to be some good fish caught.
What's your advice? After I've been over there the last 3 years or so, one of the things that always concerns me is the safety. I mean, Lake Fork's not the biggest body of water out there, and all of a sudden you got 2,000 boats on the water. And what would you advise people safety-wise?
Common sense.
Last Wednesday, I was on the water, and I saw a head-on collision right here in Fork out from the Main River Authority. I'm watching the boats. There was not a breeze blowing. It's 10:30 in the day. It was not a buoy lane. There were just 2 boats going, one from one part of the lake and one headed to the other. And from 400 yards away, it looked like they were just going to pass as normal, but they run slap into each other. And I've never you just got to be aware and be looking. There was 3 in one boat, 2 on another boat, 10 eyeballs in that boat, and nobody said look out, nobody swerved. I mean, they glance and blow, and fortunately only one guy hurt, and I did hear he passed away a few days after that.
Oh man,
It's really made me aware of every time I see a boat coming, I slow down and make sure I know which way they're going. But to answer your question is, with a lot of boats on the lake and a lot of fast boats on the lake, you just got to watch continually. A lot more people are getting two big 12-inch screens right in front of the console and starting to look, graph a little bit while they're driving. But you just got to pay attention. You don't think you can run into each other, but what I saw happen the other day, it can happen.
Johnny, when you're approaching a boat, do you believe you pass them on the left, or do you pass them on the right like you would if you were driving a car or a truck?
Well, that's a good question. If I'm on the buoy lane, I'll ease around to the right if it's tight where I know I can't get away from them. But most of the areas I know well enough to just take a wide berth around them. But I'd pass them on the right, but I pull up and make sure they have visual contact before. Because if they turn to go fish a cove and you're in the way, you're exposing yourself for a run-in right there.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's where you're probably the most dangerous is if you're slowing down unexpectedly and somebody's following you, or if you're going behind somebody else, you got to be aware that they don't know you're behind you and they can turn right or left right into the path, whichever way you're going.
Right.
I'm going to make you a millionaire, Johnny.
What?
But just take me along on the ride. You talk somebody into inventing a light that goes on the back of your cowling.
This is me and Graf's idea you're giving out on the radio. Yes, sir.
No, I had this idea before you were even born, McCoy.
No.
Me and Graf talked about
No,
this.
really, all they got to do is come up with a light that is governed by the RPMs on your motor. When you reduce the RPMs, that light, like a brake light, comes on your motor.
Right.
Well, I guess you could actually put your brake light switch or something on your throttle or something if you fall back or something like that.
Yeah, it just works off the RPMs.
Yeah, it works off RPMs on the engine.
Let's get turn signals on that sucker too. What would it take? Just use good common sense.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just use your.
But you know what? That seems to be. It's not real prevalent these days. We had a guy last year in the Skeeter Owners Tournament. It's before daylight. We're running with lights. And this guy not only passed around us, he had to go between us and another boat that was coming the other direction in order to do that. If that other boat and us had not been paying attention, this guy would have gotten 3 boats involved in an accident. We would have all died.
Wow.
Yep. That's it. Oh, he does have a big one on now, guys.
Uh-oh. All right, we gotta hear the story on this one as you're talking. Okay.
All right, I'm play-by-play right now. I'm in the back of the boat, so fish. He's coming by the motor right now. Come on, Bobby, let's get him in. No, this is real, guys. Now the fish is jumping. Oh, it's just a 3-pounder, so that wasn't that exciting. Sorry about that.
But Johnny's the only guy who's ever had bass being caught live on
the
this
air.
show.
Yeah.
Never.
Every time.
I told him, I promised him as soon as I start, you're going to get a bite, and we had 2 bites during the second day.
Wow.
Hey, what would it cost me to talk to y'all all 2 hours?
I can tell you exactly what it cost you, Johnny. Another trip.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, speaking of trips, and I have the last week of this month open and the first week of July, and I don't know why I'm booked before and after all that, but, man, those are some special days, and the fish will be biting, so y'all need to get ready to come back again.
Okay, last week of this month, and then the first week of July, around the 4th. Those 2 weeks in a row, you're pretty good.
I mean, usually around the 4th of July, this bite on this lake is outstanding. It is. For some reason, the hotter it gets, the better they bite. It's fireworks out here.
We might just make that happen, Johnny.
I'm not coming back till the whites start back biting.
Eccles gets bored with his 6-pounders.
Boy, he does. But guys, it's a fabulous fishery, and we're taking care of the resource over here, and lots working for us. The lake's in great shape, so get off some of that Salvini Lake. Come on, let's go fishing.
Oh, Johnny, I was going to tell you, me and Randy Nolan, a guy you know very well, good friend of mine, a good buddy of mine, we went to Lake Welsh over around Dangerfield a couple of weeks ago. Had a good day. Caught quite a few fish. I have never seen. That lake is full of Salvini. I mean, a hydrilla. It is incredible.
That's on my bucket list. First day off, we're headed over to Welsh to do some deep pitching in the hydrilla because it's on fire, and everybody that's going is catching a lot of fish, even some frogfish early over there.
Yes, yeah, we had a good trip.
To go.
Okay, Johnny, I want to take advantage of one of those open dates you got. What do I do?
Give me a call on 972-800-3882. We'll get a date, 972-800-3882. Or my website is lakeforkbigfish.com.
Okay, now, also on your Facebook page, which you're updating daily, some of the most awesome pictures in the world. If somebody was headed over right now and they were going to fish artificial lures, maybe they're fishing the Skeeter Owner Tournament this weekend. They can't do the brim fishing like you do. What would you advise them? What would be the best advice?
If you fishing shallow, a little short Carolina rig with watermelon red fluke will do. You can fish willow trees. We got a lot of willow thickets. They're still fishing the bushes. Real early bite on some main lake points with yellow magics, the Czar spook type baits. After that peters out, I'd get out there and fish a 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce football jig, a good little curly tail trailer on it, and hop it off these points. And there's some artificial fish being caught during the peak feeding period, so they're not uncatchable out here. I can just catch a lot more of them doing what I'm doing, but you can catch them on a big 10-inch worm and a football jig.
And all it takes is one good bite, and you got a brand new boat.
Yeah.
Yep, it is. Y'all come fishing, man.
Thank you, Johnny, guys.
Thank you, Johnny.
Check him out now. LakeForkBigFish.com. Also got links to him on our website, our Facebook page, everything.
Yep.
Hey, check that out at HUTDshow.com. We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
My heart's on fire. Well, fire up. Eyes that look like heaven, lips like cherry wine. That girl can sure enough make.
That's right, it's hour number 2 of the best outdoor show on radio, Hooking Up and Tracking Down. This segment presented by Ranger Boats, the Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash Series, along with Despino and Jim's Big South Tire, helping you reach all your outdoor destinations with quality tires. Now back to Jay Watley, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the Dink Master himself, Steve Graff.
We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger. If you missed out the first hour of this show, remember now you can check us out any Saturday. We re-air the show from 6 to 8 o'clock Saturday mornings right here on 11:30 the Tiger. But we've also got archived versions of the show on the website, HUTDshow.com. But in the first hour, we mentioned to you the mistake, the foobar that our Graf made when
But I'm entitled to one.
Yeah, well, of course. Everybody gets to screw up once.
One a year.
But Graf thought Mark Davis won the Elite Series on Dardanelle.
Yep. Sure
And
did.
he was actually, he was the front runner at the conclusion of Sunday.
No, he won Sunday.
Yeah, he did win Sunday.
He won Sunday.
They just had another tournament day to go on Monday, and I'm dying to find out why they did this one differently, because they fished Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday as opposed to Thursday through Sunday. Mark Davis, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're wonderful. We had already handed you the trophy before Monday.
Mark, I'm taking a lot of heat over this.
I bet you are. Yeah, we usually don't line them up on Monday like that. That was a little different.
So why did they do that?
Did I lose you guys?
No, we're here.
Well,
We're here.
why was this tournament through a Monday as opposed to finishing on a Sunday?
Well, we would have had to have started our practice day on Memorial Day.
Ah,
okay. I knew it had to be a holiday or something.
Okay, all
involved in
right, that because it goes back that far. Wow, okay, that's
yeah. So we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which went out put the final day of the event over onto a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, didn't y'all just have that happen here a month or so ago? It had a missed a day or something because of
weather.
Weather.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we
went to Monday on that.
Ross Barnett was like that.
Okay.
Yep. Had those bad storms at Ross Barnett, and we had to move the finals to Monday. So,
Okay.
and it works out fine doing it that way. I actually had a good crowd at Dardanelle on a Monday. A lot better. Of course, they had an Arkansas leading it going into the final day, so I'm sure that helped the crowd. But we had a good crowd there.
Well, Mark, what was your method of madness that you were using to basically, finish second place in this event? Great finish for you. I hope I didn't jinx you with the phone call or the text I sent you.
Yeah, it's all grass.
Yeah, it's all my fault. I have to take the blame for this one. But anyway, what was it that you were doing that kind of set you apart from the rest of the crowd?
Well, strangely enough, and by the way, you weren't the only one. I was getting congratulations left and right.
Oh, well, I feel better now. Was it Eccles or McCoy? Did they call you?
I'm trying to help you out here. I had several texts and phone calls of congratulations.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't feel so bad.
Anyway, so no, you shouldn't feel bad.
Okay.
Strange enough, Kennedy, Steve that won the tournament, and I were both fishing way up the river, which the river was flooded and it was really high, and we both located, a little isolated area up there. Each of us did that had some quality fish on, and I would run up there and start, and get a good start, catch a couple of 2 or 3 good fish, and then I would come back down about 25 miles below, and which was still that was a total trip to where I was fishing upstream was about 45 minutes, so roughly 50 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would come back down about halfway back and finish out the day and upgrade a few more times, and all that worked until the final day. My upgrades down there in the middle of the lake didn't happen, and Steve was able to catch me and pass me. But that's the way fishing goes. I caught a lot of fish. I had a great tournament. I had an opportunity to win. It just didn't work out. But a lot of different lures, and I'm just rambling on here. I'm assuming you guys are wanting to kind of hear the story, so I'm just telling it. But
yeah, no, go ahead.
Upriver, it was top water. Strike King, Sexy Dog, and a Strike King little popper that we call KVD Splash, whoever that guy is.
We've heard of him, I think.
Yeah. And I'd catch a few on a jig and a worm up there as well. And then when I would come back down, I was fishing, offshore humps and whatnot with a 1.5 and a 2.5 Strike King, sexy chrome colored crankbait, and again a little bit with a jig and a worm. But that was basically, my game plan, and that was the lures. Actually, the last day, that offshore thing went away, and I picked up pure poison, the bladed jig, and I caught some fish doing that. Just had to kind of improvise. The trouble with my game plan was you really didn't have enough gas once you made that big run up, and then halfway back down, I didn't have enough gas to run, or time for that matter, to run back up there and then all the way back to the other dam, to weigh in. So when that mid-lake thing died, I had to improvise, and like I said, I picked up that pure poison. I caught 6 or 8 fish, but they were all, 2.5 pounds apiece, and I needed one more quality bite to put it away, and it just didn't happen.
Mark, what goes off in your brain when you say, all right, I'm up here, and now it's time to head to the mid-lake area. It's time to leave these fish. What are you looking for? I mean, just catching a limit? Do you want your limit to weigh 14 pounds? What says, okay, we're going to pack it up and move now?
when I feel like I've pretty much got what that area is going to give me. It was a it was a very small area because the whole river's flooded. And the little ditch I was in, it's all flooded. I mean, the brush in there is 10 feet deep. But I was fishing a road bed that went across that ditch. And very small. I mean, you could sit on one side of the ditch and cast all the way across it. I mean, it's just one little spot. You can fit your boat one place and fish the whole thing. So I would fish it very carefully and very slowly. But once I, felt like this is done for the day without giving it you could give it probably a 2 or 3 hour rest and come back and catch a few more off of it, but pretty much done for the day. Then I would leave. And Dardanelle's one of those lakes where you've got to move around. You almost have to fish the entire lake. To have one little spot or one little area hold up for 4 days is very unusual, and it happened for both Steve and I both. Having a little spot like that held up, but I think the reason it did was the water was so flooded, so muddy, so dirty. We just had a little clean, a clear water area where, those fish were kind of ganged up. So, but to answer your question, pretty much when I felt like it was done, I would leave. And, you just keep putting your best foot forward. And that's the way I try to fish, in a tournament. If I know another area, another way to go get something going, and what I'm doing is stopped, I'm gonna move on. But it's nice to be able to come back, and that was the point I was making earlier. You couldn't go back; it was too far. Mm-hmm. It was just too far away. I would love to have made another, 45 minutes on that little road bed, but it was just too far. So I wouldn't have had enough gas to have done it.
Hey, Mark, you made a comment that you caught some fish on each day of the last day on a bladed jig, and some of our listeners may not know. Basically, that is what everybody refers to as a chatterbait, but a lot of the companies have come out with pop-offs and good baits.
Right.
The chatterbait or the bladed jig has really been popular the last few years and catches a lot of fish, but some people don't really know what conditions when to fish the bladed jig. Explain that. Like swim baits, people say you always have to have wind. But when do you throw a bladed jig?
I like a bladed jig. If you think about it in these terms, we've all fished spinnerbaits over the years, and a bladed jig in a lot of ways, I think for a lot of anglers, has almost taken the place of a spinnerbait. But you need, I prefer some color to the water, not crystal clear. I want some color, just like with a spinnerbait. You want some wind. I like a little bit of, you really want some stain, and you can, and here's a good example. You can be on fish, catching fish with a bladed jig, chatterbait. And you get a day and the water clears up and the wind's not blowing and they don't bite it. And the next thing you should pick up is a swim jig. You use a jig, but you just do away with the blade and can make a huge difference when the water's clear. And so I'm saying all that to emphasize that you need a little color. A little bit of stain is better. And I was fishing it in some really, nasty red water, so it will work in muddy water just like a spinnerbait.
And I find it does really well in low light conditions. Is that right, Mark?
Low light conditions, and I make a lot of comparisons. I keep going back to a spinnerbait. It parallels a spinnerbait so much, and when and where it's almost pretty much, for me, it's taking the place of a spinnerbait. The only advantage to a spinnerbait anymore over a bladed jig, a spinnerbait is more weedless. That bladed jig will hang.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, spinnerbait, if you want to throw it into some gnarly stuff and really slow it down, you can a spinnerbait because you've got an arm up there with a blade on the end of it. With that bladed jig, it'll turn and it'll hang on you. But other than that, it's just about the same place you would throw a spinnerbait, you throw a bladed jig.
Do you always put a trailer on that bladed jig?
I always put a trailer on it. My favorite trailer is that mini scrub that I'm kind of known for throwing. You know, I like a pearl, and I throw. You know, depends on what color bait I'm using, but at Dardanelle I was fishing chartreuse and white, and I'd put a pearl trailer on it. I'm fishing a bluegill time green pumpkin color, I'll put a green pumpkin menace on it. If I'm fishing a black and blue, I'll put a black and blue menace on it. But those are about the only 3 colors I use in it.
That was my question,
And,
was what standard colors do you stay with on the bladed jig? And pretty much you black and blue, watermelon red, or chartreuse. Yep. Do you ever go to like is the water ever clear enough you'd still consider throwing it to where you'd throw just white?
Yeah, sometimes white's good. I carry white with me, and I even carry some translucent shad looking stuff. And here's another thing about that bladed jig. When the water's clear, if you wind it fast and keep it up on top, just like you do a spinnerbait when the water's clear, you can still catch fish on it. You can't slow roll it, let them have a real good look at it. But if you keep it up high, moving in clear water, it'll catch fish. But it works, it really shines at its best when that water's got a stain.
Mark, let's move on to a little different topic here. BASS and a lot of the things that they're doing with over the last 3 to 4 years and some of the changes they made, and the young anglers coming up. Are you happy, a guy that's been in this business for a long time, are you happy with the direction BASS is going and the new anglers that are on the rise?
Yeah. Let me answer that as best I can. It's different now than it was. A lot of things are different than it was 30 some odd years ago when I began my career. As far as bass, yeah, I mean they're doing fine. I think MLF has opened the public's eye to conservation wise as to catch, weigh, and release.
Yeah,
in the
fish
boat.
care.
And fish care. And, conservation wise, and it's good. It looks good on television. It's good for the fish. It's really cool to catch a fish and from the moment you put your hands on him and he's weighed and he's in a matter of seconds, he swims away and you get, you've got a judge down there or a marshal, whatever you want to call him, that boat official that records that weight and scores it. Now, you don't get to carry fish the weigh and hold it up in front of a crowd. That's the trade-off. But so every tournament organization has a different format. But and we see bass with the Texas Bass Fest we just did at Rayburn. It's pretty cool. I mean, I really enjoyed that, and I think that's the future.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way you guys were. I don't know if I'm answering the question right. What you were asking me, but I think that is the direction. I think MLF's leading the way, and I think bass is starting to come around. The weigh-in is definitely out of the equation. It's out of the equation when you go with that type format. But with technology now and what Bass is doing with Bass Live, you're watching. Them guys are watching me, out there grumbling and trying to catch a bass in this event, and as we do at every event, that is really starting to take the place of the old weigh-in. It's hard to let the old weigh-in go. I know. I think they're kind of wrestling with that, but.
Well, that's where your exposure's at. That's where the crowds are coming. That's what they're coming to see. So they're not going to come watch guys put boats on trailers, and drive off.
There's another way to skin that cat. I don't think we've gotten to it yet, but there's a way. It would probably be in something like a fan day, kind of like what they do sometimes at NASCAR and at some of these country music concerts. But you could have a fan day and still have the crowds. Still have all the hoopla, although it may be one day rather than every day.
Right.
But I think there's another way to skin that cat to keep the fans engaged, to still have an event. But with technology nowadays, I mean, dadgum, it's amazing what can be done And, fish carrier. I mean, I'll tell you this, state agencies love what, Bass did with Texas Bass Fest, what MLF does at every event. They're really embracing that. And I think that's the future.
I'm going to tell you that because of Bass Live, there's going to be a new breed of consultants that comes out that teaches an angler what to wear on his shoes, what to wear on his pocket, what to have scripted across the deck of his boat. Yeah. These consultants are going to come in and they're going to say, hey, look, if you really want to represent Ranger, Skeeter, Bass Cat, whoever, this is what you need to have it, and you need to have it there because that's where this GoPro is positioned.
Right.
That's right.
That day's coming. And, and that
it is without a doubt.
That exposure is going to be greater for a leading angler in that regard for those sponsors. Yeah. That exposure is going to be greater than it would just for the 2 minutes on stage and you accidentally forget to thank that particular lure company or that particular, boat additive, marine fuel additive, or whatever.
Right. Well, they can't thank everybody. No. Take them forever to have a weigh-in.
So, it's going to come down to what's on the deck of that boat.
Right. Well, Mark, we appreciate. Go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're up on the end of the segment here, and we just wanted to say thank you for coming on. Congratulations on your runner-up finish over there at Darnell, and we appreciate you coming on today. And we look forward. Of course, we follow your career all the time anyway, Mark. And
we kind of consider you part of the neighborhood here. I mean, we're in Louisiana. You're not that far away.
Right.
I appreciate that. You guys give me a call, and I'd love to come back on there with you.
All right. Thank you.
Mark Davis was the runner-up this past weekend, the Elite Series on Lake Dardanelle. Good luck to him. And sit tight. Louisiana Outdoor News is up next, and a look at the Louisiana State record fish.
Yes.
Kind of cool stuff. We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Folks, our show would not be possible without our fine board op, Jay Wadley, who does a great job of pushing all the right buttons and producing this show. This segment presented by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Red River Waterway Commission, Seaguard Fishing Line, and United Rentals, making all your home projects easier by providing great equipment and tools to get the job done. How about it, guys? Let me just say, that is my favorite piece of literature ever written in the history of this show. That's just a good read right there.
Yeah, buddy. Way
Truth
to go.
too, man.
How about it, guys?
You know what? You can read them next time, Mike.
No, they don't want me to do it.
Hey, we're proud of you, brother. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger and Louisiana State record fish. I did not realize Caddo Lake does not have an entry in any regard on any of these.
Yeah. That's the facts, Jack.
I mean, that just blows me away. Caddo Lake is not represented in any, whether it's crappie or it's bluegill or,
right.
I
guess they're all launched. Either they're launching, which we just talked about. What qualifies you for a record on Caddo depends on where you launch out of.
Not where you catch the fish.
Not where you catch the fish. It's where you launch. That's right.
And, of course, you look at the list here, Caney Lake is, even though it had nothing recently come out of it dominated there for a while.
In the early 90s, Caney was the spot. I've never been to that lake. Have you been there?
I've been there one time.
What about you? You never?
Never seen it.
From what everybody tells me, it's just a big old bowl out there.
It's just, that's it. That's what it is.
And what happened was the hydrilla took over the lake. They put the carp in there, and fish population
they
just
ate
died.
all the grass out.
Wow.
The lake down at Houston, Conroe, was one of the first places that they annihilated with the grass carp going overboard, and Caney Lake was the second.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is living proof. Now, Conroe has made a resurgence.
Right. Yeah. And Caney's coming back, too.
Is Caney?
Caney's on the way back.
So it takes it 25 years to get over from grass carp.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you do them out of, not by the recommendations of your biologist, both places, both those lakes, they were in such dire strait that they said you need to put in one fish per 5 acres or you're one fish per acre, grass carp. Oh, we can't wait, and it's going to take 2 to 3 years to see an impact.
Right.
We can't wait that long. We're going to put in 20 per acre. That's what happened in both cases.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is a biologist out there who could create a species of fish that would eat salvinia.
I don't think you can, because there's zero nutritional value in salvinia.
There's nothing in it.
Nothing. A cow won't eat it. No,
really?
Nothing. No.
I had no idea.
Surely, and if a hog won't eat it, ain't nothing going. Or a goat, if a goat won't eat it, he won't eat nothing to eat it.
Hybrid striped bass, 16 and a quarter pounds from Lake Pontchartrain, February of 2000. You're talking about a regular old
striper,
little white bass?
No.
Okay.
Striper bass.
Okay.
No,
Hybrid.
I don't know. You know what? That's one of those I don't know what I've caught when I've caught it.
There's not but 2 people I know that could tell you for sure what was what on that. It'd be Mike Bacon and Ken Barr.
Wow.
They'll know it.
Really?
Yes, sir. They know their fishes.
So they know the difference between that and a white bass.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was in February 2000, 1521 from Toledo Bend, May of 1992, and 15 pounds even from Toledo Bend, June of 93. So no entries since 2000.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that caught my attention on all these records that they're fixing to look at right now. There's nothing, guys, recent, and that kind of concerning. Does that mean there's more people fishing now, a lot more pressure?
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking you went through a heyday. I'm thinking that in the 90s to 2000.
Yeah,
I honestly believe that the state of Louisiana spent more money to produce these fish.
Well, that's when the quality management program was introduced.
Exactly.
And the Trophy Lake program.
And you know what? We saw great benefits from that, but nothing lasts forever.
And
you've got to have a resurgence into what you got to rethink things, and that's why the slot limit on Caddo Lake to me has outlived its usefulness.
No doubt.
You either got to change it or do away with it.
When you look
where we're at right now is not. I'm telling you, I caught fish Saturday and Sunday that were 3 1/4 pounds, 3 1/2 pounds. That it was almost like the only reason why that fish is still in the body of water because it's grown as big as it's ever going to be.
Yeah. Well, you got lakes like Chico Lake, not Black Lake, Chico Lake, Cross Lake, Granby that have a slot limit on them.
No, Cross does not have a slot limit on it.
Well, it used to have
and they got rid of it.
But my point being is those were quality management lakes. Caddo, on the other hand, is a trophy lake. That's where they managed it differently. And I'm like you. I think those have outlived their use.
I'm not saying that the slot wouldn't work. I'm just saying that the present size of the slot is it's outlived that.
It's a waste of time now.
Okay. Largemouth bass.
Yeah.
Okay, largemouth bass. The apparent state record is 1597. Came off Caney Lake, and I don't have the date because I erased that.
February 94.
Okay.
February 94.
1587. Valentine Lake in 2010.
Where's Valentine Lake?
I have no idea.
Now, I do know this next one. Black Bayou Halston.
That surprised me.
Third place. No, not me, because I weighed that fish.
Did you really?
Was it in a tournament?
Nope.
Okay.
Adam Oliver caught the fish up there and brought it to Reeves Marine. We weighed it, and it was certified as third largest fish in the state, 1582.
But you just don't think of Black Bayou Halston as a.
But there was that year. There were some giants came out of that lake.
Really?
And then the next year, some, and it fell off after that.
Really? Huh.
There's got to be an explanation.
But
for
that was in March of 2009.
Yeah.
Right.
And 15.54 Caney Lake again. 15.53 Caney Lake in October of 93. 15.54 Caney Lake of 93. 15.38. A guy caught this on campus, University Lake, LSU campus, one of those little bitty lakes, June of 92.
I remember when that was the
Caught it
state
standing
record.
on the yes, sir.
That was the state record, and before that was a fish came out of False River.
And when you think about it, in the span of 14 months, Caney Lake has 4 of the top 6.
I'm telling you, you back up about 6 to 8 years before that.
Yeah.
And that's when those fish were introduced into that body of water, maybe 10 years.
Right.
15.31 was Lake Darbone in February of 2000. I remember that story. A doctor or a dentist caught that fish one afternoon.
I remember that, yeah.
Yep. And then 15.15 Caney Lake in 1995. So apparently the Louisiana black bass the biggest fish weighed in our state be 1597.
Well, another thing that got my attention here was Toledo Bend's nowhere on this list.
No.
That surprised me.
Yeah. Caddo Lake's nowhere on that list, and I know for a fact that Caddo Lake has had at least 3, if not 4 fish that were caught bigger than the biggest fish here.
Still came down to where you launched. And I know the last one Ronnie Arnold caught this year, 15-something.
Yeah.
Ronnie launches on the Texas side.
Sure
of the
he
lake.
does. Yeah.
So,
wow.
You know, if you go into Caddo to break a record, launch on Louisiana side.
I'll look up next week the Texas top and let's see if Caddo,
oh, it'll blow your mind how many came out of Fort.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I'm gonna see if Caddo shows up.
Okay. Spotted bass, almost 5 pounds out of Tickfall River.
White bass, 6.81 of the Meat River, August of 2010.
Bluegill, the largest one weighed in Louisiana, is 1.63 pounds. That's Old River, caught in 2000.
I would have to argue that. Is that because people have caught bluegill bigger and just didn't go weigh it?
Almost every record has actually been beaten.
Yeah, I would agree with
that. And eaten.
Yeah.
Beaten and
eaten and eaten.
Yes, sir.
That's a good T-shirt, too.
Blue catfish, 110.19 pounds out of the Mississippi River, April 2005.
Channel cat. I love eating channel cat. 30.31 pounds, intercoastal Mirrors Canal, August of 1977.
How do you tell the difference between a channel cat and a blue cat?
Check his driver's license. I don't know.
A channel cat will have like specks on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up catching catfish.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
That's a threat to the species. Flathead catfish, which is the Opelousas. The record is 95 pounds even, caught in Wax Lake, which is down out of Morgan City, 2007.
That's a good nickname for a Jay, Flathead.
Black crappie.
You can call me whatever you want as long as I can keep reading stuff like I read a few moments ago. Call me whatever you want.
Black crappie had a 3.84 pounder caught out of Poverty Point in April of 2010.
God, I just think that's been broken. I'm just
telling you, Poverty Point.
Yes.
Poverty Point in the last couple of years, maybe those were just white crappie.
I think Mike is right though. I think I saw something in Louisiana.
I know that one guy had 2 4-pounders, and they were white crappie, and this is showing Lake Verret had a 3.80 pound white crappie. I know that Poverty Point has beaten that in the last couple of years.
Louisiana Sports Writers Association are the ones that actually run the record book for Louisiana.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Huh.
So it has nothing to do with fishing, international fishing game.
Real quick, Louisiana hunting and fishing license, guys. Your license will expire June 30th. Don't forget to reapply now. You can reapply now, and it'll count for 2017-18 season.
One little thing, though. Free fishing weekend this Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, you don't need a license.
Free fishing in the state of Louisiana.
I was in Academy Sports just a while ago and forgot to get my license.
Did you? Yeah. I do mine online, but yeah, I've already gotten mine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
We're hooking
I'm
up,
way ahead of
tracking
y'all.
down. 11:30.
Gotta get up early.
The Tiger.
If you want to hear the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show any place, anytime, download the Radio Pup app on your iPhone, iPad, or other listening device. You can also catch us again Saturday mornings from 6 till 8 here on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Natchitoches Ford, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, and the Cowboys Wild Game Washer. If you don't have a game washer, you've got to have one of these. Go to GameWasher.com to learn more. Now back to the guys who could use a good washing: Gary, Steve, Mike, and Jay.
I've got it.
Okay, I'm glad you got it. Here's your Daiwa Gamakatsu best times to fish. Looks like a great weekend for fishing, as all 3 days are rated as excellent. There's only a 10% chance of rain on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Temperatures will continue to be in the high 80s, lows at night reaching the mid-60s. There'll be a full moon this weekend as well. Best time to fish is midday, and that's good because of the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Best times Friday, 11:55 a.m. to 2:55 p.m. Sunrise will be 6:06, sunset 8:17. Saturday, be out there fishing 12:40 to 3:40 p.m. Sunrise will be 6:06, sunset 8:17. It's funny how it didn't change.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, it has to do with the moon. Getting closer to the sun. Sunday, best time to fish, 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. Sunrise will be 6:06, sunset 8:17. This has been your Daiwa and Gamakatsu best times to fish. That's weird. Sunrise, sunset for 3 days, never changes.
Yeah.
You know,
Does that mean we're getting to? We start to go the other way.
Well, whenever.
yeah, you'll get to the summer solstice,
Right.
which is coming up pretty quick.
First, I think
It's the
21st
longest day of the
I think
year.
it's
You
June
have
20
more. You
June
have more
20
daylight than any other day of the year.
June 21st, I think, is that day.
I've never used one of those summer poultices.
Pulse.
It'll make the swelling go down.
Yeah.
All I've used that.
Were we able to get our guest?
Yeah, we got him. I think Wes, you with us?
Yeah, hey, how y'all doing?
Folks, we got Wes Higgins. He is with Rattle Trap. And, Wes, what exactly is your title with Rattle Trap?
President?
Oh, okay. Okay.
How about that?
That's a pretty good title.
Yeah. So you just started, huh?
Yeah, it's your first rodeo.
I
Well,
don't usually throw that around, but you specifically asked.
yeah, there you go.
Beating around the bush there.
I ran into Wes at ICAST last year, and he was actually introducing this bait at ICAST last year, and and it was it got a great video. We're going to actually post one of those videos on our website and as well as Facebook page, and so you can get an idea what this bait will actually do. Wes, tell us what this bait is all about.
What is this bait?
Yeah, and what is this bait? It is a topwater bait.
Yeah, you're talking about our new topwater, the stuff. is the name for it.
Say that again,
So,
Wes. Our phone broke up with you real quick.
Okay, it's called a stutter step.
Okay.
Our new topwater lure.
Well, I think he
Just like
stuttered when he said it.
basketball, or I probably did. But just like in sports, you give them the stutter step sometimes, and that's kind of what this bait does for walking baits. Instead of just walking towards you at 45-degree angles, with the stutter step, you can twitch it and it'll turn on 90-degree angles. So if you want to throw it up next to a flooded bush and tease them and keep it in the strike zone right next to that target, you can.
I can imagine this being an unbelievable bait around boat docks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't
Any
no
kind
doubt.
of targeted cover, be it a boat dock, trying
Stump.
to keep it next to a grass line, some pads, anything like that. And that's really just one of the actions, that stutter step action where you walk it in place. When we get out in open water, say around schooling fish or on big main lake points, we use a different type of action. We call it wag the tail. And if you've seen the bait, it's got it looks like a paddle tail, like you would see on a swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
And the wag the tail motion is more of a fast-paced pitch with the reel retrieving at the same time, and you're going to keep that bait moving pretty fast. And with those small twitches, you're going to get that tail kicking, and it's going to be throwing up some really nice splashes. Kind of like a pop-ar, but it's coming out the back of the bait.
Yeah, I was thinking more like a jitterbug type bait.
It's really different. That's why people need to try it out and see what it's about, because it's totally different than anything that's on the market. It's definitely an original.
Wes, this appears like it looks like a swim bait. Looks
Yeah.
just like a swim bait,
Right.
shaped like that, but it's
Hard
top
plastic.
water.
Yeah.
And I guess you still there, Wes?
No.
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 That dial tone usually tells you that conversation's over.
Well, I was just trying to be polite. So he's going to call back. We were on the phone with Wes from Rattle Trap Lures, introducing the new Stutter Step Topwater, and I'm sure he'll be right back.
You know what? It's the Bill Lewis stutter step. They should have talked to somebody. If they'd have made it the Mel Tillis stutter step. I'm just
Good idea. All right, we got Wes back with us.
Yeah.
Wes, we lost you there for a second. Go ahead and continue what you were talking about.
Well, I mean, it definitely has some resemblances to other baits. I mean, in the fact that it walks, it kicks, it splashes, but it is different. It's more of a cross between a bait that you can walk, but at the same time, it's going to be kicking up water, similar to.
Wes, I'm sure that you've had this in the hands of your pro staff for quite some time. And one of the things that I've noticed over the course of the years that I've fished is the loss of fish on a topwater bait. Your hookup ratio just isn't what it is maybe on a single hook, lured like a jig or a Texas rig worm, something like that. How is this one in standings? I mean, when that fish hits it, is he in the boat generally?
It's going to hook up similar to your walking baits, like your spooks and baits of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it definitely hooks up better than a frog will, because you have two treble hooks that are exposed instead of two weedless hooks tucked into the body.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the advantage of the frog is it is weedless and you throw it in cover. But I'd say it's going to hook up about like a spook.
Okay. Big hooks on it?
Yeah, we use a big size 1 mustad round bend hook, and something we see that happens a lot of times is they'll get one hook in the mouth and that other hook will swing up and catch them in the gill plate. And you almost have them pinned. They can't even fight when you're reeling them in,
See, that's the way I like them. I can usually beat them if they can't fight.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, what's the length of this bait?
Well, we have a 5-inch model that we call the Stutter Step 5.0, and it's out on the market now. And we have a 4-inch model that we plan to release at ICAST, and it'll probably be on the market August, September, somewhere in there.
Right after ICAST. Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Wes, I've never actually laid hands on the bait, but I can tell you that you've got something here, because it's a fact. If you go out there, on the very few times you go out that fish are aggressively feeding, you can get a bite pretty quick. But the majority of the times, the fish are not. I mean, you have to make that fish bite. And the best way to do it is the longer a moving bait stays in front of a fish, the more chance you have of him changing his mood and biting it. If you throw out there and you just come by it one time and he just looks at it. But if it stays in front of him, just like throwing a plastic out there and letting it lay on the bottom and wiggling for 30 seconds or something.
Let it soak.
The chances of him hitting are good. And if you've got a bait that will move and not advance away from the target, I think you've hit a home run.
Well, I really encourage people to go out to YouTube and just YouTube Bill Lewis stutter step, and they'll see a lot of videos that show just what I'm talking about. And a couple of places within our region here that I've seen it really effectively used. When the Elite Series guys were practicing over at Sam Rayburn, I got to go over and get on the boat with Mark Daniels Jr. And you know how the bushes get flooded in certain areas?
Yeah.
The buck brush and all that.
The water's high at Rayburn right now, yeah.
Yeah, those fish, when they get back in that stuff, Mark and I were able to catch numerous, 30 plus within a few hours, just throwing that bait up by those bushes and just walking it back and forth right in place. I mean, it's not going to stay right in place, but within I'd say a 6 foot stretch, you can get 10 to 12, 15, maybe even, if you're good at it, 15 cuts out of this bait, whereas with a traditional walking bait, it's going to be 4 or 5 cuts, and it's out of there.
Now, Wes, is this a good bait? Would braid or monofilament, either one work? Do they work the same?
Yeah,
or?
They both work. I like the braid better for long-distance casting.
Right.
I have better ability to hook up with no stretch with all that line out in the water.
Right.
But if I'm up close, the 5-inch model is 1 ounce. So the setup I recommend for that when you're pitching at targeted cover is a medium-heavy to heavy rod, so you can actually pitch that joker accurately right up next to cover and then walk it in place. And if you're targeting stuff that's real close to the boat, monofilament with the stretch is a little bit more forgiving.
Right. Well, and with topwater, sometimes you have a tendency to jerk it away from a fish, and that mono gives you that extra stretch that kind of prevents that from happening. Notice you make it in 11 colors. You got a great color range. I think you've done a wonderful job with that.
Thank you.
Another thing, you talk about the line, one thing people need to keep in mind, don't ever try to throw, I won't say don't ever, I don't know any time when you really want to throw any topwater on fluorocarbon.
Right, no.
Fluorocarbon will sink.
Yeah.
And
pulls the bait down.
It always pulls the nose of the bait down.
Yeah.
And deletes the action.
That's a good tip. Yeah, it'll kill the action. And as far as choosing between mono or braid, I would just think, hey, if I'm going to be fishing long distance, making big open water casts at schooling fish or on points, I would recommend the braid. If I'm doing short distance pitching to isolated cover, I would recommend the mono.
I would think this would be a deadly bait for school fish as well. And right now is school time. School's in, so for bass. So I think this would be a great school fish bait.
Yeah, and so when they're schooling, I would go more with that wag the tail, that fast pace action, where you're not really trying to get it to stay in place. You're just trying to get it making commotion. You're walking it real quick, and that tail's kicking water.
Okay, Wes, I got to ask this. You can only buy one color. What color are you going to buy?
I would go with the ghost shad because, virtually every lake around here has got shad in it. And in being transparent, it's transparent enough to catch them in the daylight, yet it's got enough color to it where you can catch them in low light as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I really recommend 2 colors at least, just one for low light and one for when the sun's up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd recommend the bone for the low light,
and
then I'd recommend either the ghost bluegill or the ghost shad for when the sun gets up.
See that ghost bluegill? That caught my eye. The ghost bluegill, especially when the brim are just now, believe it or not, brim are just now really starting to bed up good.
Right.
It's the first weekend that I can remember smelling real good brim beds all over. And I can imagine, late in the evening, early in the morning, up around those bluegill beds, and throwing that sucker up there and walking it out there. Oh, dude.
I can see this because the only time I ever do night fishing is actually in the summertime when the heat of the day. June, July, I like the full moon, go out there. That black one ought to just be deadly at night.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, Wes, what else has Rattle Trap got in the works besides the stutter step? I know you got ICAST coming up. Is that the only thing new you're introducing this year, or you got some other things that you can reveal right now?
I got a few other things I wouldn't mind talking about. A lot of people don't realize that we've started carrying a bobber line. We carry a bobber that's called a rocket bobber. And if you do any kind of pan fishing, take your kids out for brim or anything like that, you cannot beat this bobber. The deal with it, again, I recommend going to YouTube, type in rocket bobber, kind of look at what it does. But it's a long shaped bobber. It's kind of skinny in nature, and it lays flat on the surface. And as soon as the fish touches it, it pivots and stands up without the fish actually having to pull it under. So you can detect a bite a lot quicker than the fish will ever know that, hey, I'm hooked up. It doesn't feel anything.
Right.
Hey, Graf can catch one then.
I guarantee you. That's my kind of deal there.
Something got my cricket down there.
Yeah, let's go. Start reeling.
And, of course, with the name being rocket bobber, you may assume that it casts really far, and it does. It's weighted in the head of it, so that when you cast it, it casts like a dart.
Right.
When you see the thing, it looks like it's almost shaped like a twin-tip dart. It's like a dart on both sides. It's a real simple design. It's a simple, it's a low-cost product, $1.50 or so pop. But man, the hookup ratio for kids and really anybody is a lot better. So that rocket bobber. Another thing we've got that people may not be aware about, going back to the bass fishing side, is our Echo 1.75 square bill.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen that yet?
No,
okay.
Nope.
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, it's a loud, aggressive square bill. Basically took a lot of the same living sound technology that we've used in our rattle trap for so many years. And by that, I mean it's a blend of low sound and high-pitched sound. A lot of companies, they'll just throw in a few rattles or they'll throw in a few buckshot for weighting. So we're a little bit more intentional about it. And we put in a combo of large buckshot and some smaller kill shot that together give off a dual frequency that we found makes all the difference in catching fish.
Did you say it's a 1.5?
1.75, so that's another unique thing about it.
Okay.
It's a little bit bigger than your 1.5s that a lot of other companies make, but yet it's a little smaller than your 2.0, 2.5.
Right. In between.
So it's a good mid-sized bait, kind of fits a bill that a lot of other companies aren't doing right now.
Thank you, Wes. We appreciate you and your time and the Bill Lewis stutter step and everything else Rattle Trap's got going these days. Of course, there's not one of us that doesn't have a stack of rattle traps.
Full of rattle traps. Yeah,
dude. That's a name synonymous with bass fishing. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Wes. Appreciate you.
Well, hey, thank y'all for having me.
We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
Man, how time flies. It's our final segment. Please check out our new website at HUTDshow.com, an information highway for all things related to the great outdoors. This segment is presented by Nichols Department Stores, Kamakatsu Hooks, Spro Lures, and Toledo Town and Tackle. The largest tackle box on the bin with a great selection of Daiwa rods and reels, Spro Lures, and Gamakatsu hooks. One more time, here's Topwater Wadley, Chatterbait McCoy, Dinkmaster Graff, and Mudhen Eccles.
Hey, the CCA Louisiana Star statewide tournament Anglers Rodeo is underway. Each year, the tournament begins on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend and lasts until Labor Day. Star is the CCA's largest membership drive and boasts over 13,000 participants each year. During the competition, anglers compete for over $500,000 in prizes. Folks, it's not too late, so register now. If you're planning on making a trip to the Gulf, make sure you register. It'd be dumb not to do so. Don't be that guy that didn't do that. Go to ccastar.com to learn more and to register for the greatest fishing tournament in the Gulf Coast region. That's Coastal Conservation Association of Louisiana, making a difference in the future of our waterways.
Skeeter Owners Tournament this Saturday, Sunday, Lake Fork, and then next weekend. This one's kind of cool. Benefit Bass Tournament supporting little Noah Schultz, 11 years old, in his second battle with cancer. And, Mike, you're going to be doing the weigh-in for that one.
Yes, I think so. I talked to Ben Potter and them and offered to do that. I just scheduled another specialty tournament that day, talked to all the sponsors and the people that we drew, and I'm going to have to reschedule. I forgot all about this tournament benefit. Yeah. I would not be a part of this event up on Caddo Lake. So if I talk to you today about the specialty tournament for Boss, we're going to have to move it back a week.
Okay,
sorry about
so
that.
We'll do that on June 24th. Anyway, this one will be June the 17th, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Caddo Lake, $80 a team. Pre-registration for that deadline is June 10th, which is this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if
now
you,
that's deadline for
pre-registration.
Right.
It's for for this one. Pre-registration is the deadline June 10th. If you wait until after this Saturday, then you'll have to register the day of the tournament, and it'll be cash only for $100. Okay, that's per two-man team. $10 big bass pot, and the money's going to little Noah, who is 11 years old right now. I think right now he is back at St. Jude's.
Okay, this weekend also, I forgot to mention this, the Ronald McDonald Tournament over in Monroe on the Ouachita River and Felsenthal. If you're looking for a big bass tournament, hourly weigh-ins for a great cause, you can go online to Ronald McDonald House in Monroe.
You've been doing that one for a long time. What's it generally take to win that?
It depends. You know, when I first went over there, they were having it on the river and Darbone.
But when they brought Felsenthal in,
well, even last year with Felsenthal, a lot of people didn't know that they had brought Felsenthal back. But it's still, I'm going to say, you know, a 6-pound fish over there will win. But a high 2 to 3, it's a very, very easy tournament to get a check in. You don't have to have 4 and 5 pounders to get hourly weigh in, and the money's good.
So I need to be going over there then.
Yeah.
The Dinkmaster Deluxe.
They actually had, and I don't think they're doing. They had the Dink Award for the smallest 12-inch fish weighed in would win $100, $200 or something in every tournament every year. They would have the smallest fish, and yes, that's your specialty.
Man, I need to get in that deal, baby.
And I'm going to tell you what,
it would amaze you.
It would amaze you. I've actually weighed. I'm trying to remember a 12-inch fish. The smallest I've ever weighed in was. God, I want to say either a 0.68 or a 0.72.
Mine's a 0.88.
Wow.
That's your smallest?
That's my smallest fish ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to break that.
Everybody's got to have a goal, Graham.
That's right, baby.
Shoot low.
Hey, but you said is there weigh-ins at 2 sites?
Yes, it is. 2 sets of certified scales. Yeah.
How does that go over? I mean,
well, it was something that it really took a little work for the board out there to figure out how to do it. Felsenthal would not. That's a reserve, federal reserve. They wouldn't let you bring the fish out of there. Take them to Ouachita River. So what the anglers that fish Felsenthal do is I have Big Mike and Sandy up there. Me and Charlotte are at Ouachita River. You weigh in up there, but you don't know what your fish weighs. Then you leave and you come down
to the main stage.
Yes, and you walk through the line. And when you walk up there, we pull it up on the computer, and you tell, just like I just weighed it.
Wow.
So it's working really good for them. It's allowing them. a lot more people to fish and more water to fish in.
How proud would I be at .88 walking across the stage?
Dude, hey, hand me my trophy.
We're in first place, baby. That's me.
Oh, my
Jay,
God.
is it time to go?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. Jay, you have anything you want to add to the program today?
No, I just thought that the scripts you wrote were fantastic.
All right, thank you.
And
Thank you. I work hard on those.
Yeah, let's stay with that moving forward.
So just keep doing my thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, so good.
All right, man. That's what I need to know. See, I like that input. Jay gives us input.
Yeah.
We need input.
You had to pay him to say that.
Yeah. All right, here's this week's final word. As outdoorsmen, we are exposed to the deadly UV rays of the sun. I have seen firsthand the effects and damage the sun can do. Guys with parts of their ears and noses have been removed only because they took zero precautions on protecting themselves. Melanoma kills thousands of people every year, and most could have been prevented with a simple application of sunscreen. Don't become a statistic. Take the time to apply a high-level SPF protection the next time you're going to spend time in the great outdoors. For Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, Jay Whiteley, and yours truly, Steve Graff, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week right here, 11:30 The Tiger, for more Hooking Up and Tracking Down.